this demo, we want to focus on the testing of Apache Camel Kamelets in combination with Knative. So we will have some pipes that connect with Kamelets as event sources and as event sinks. And the pipes will also connect to a Knative broker. And we want to actually test the pipes and the functionality with exchanging events with the broker. So a first example pipe that we want to test is this timer source pipe. So this pipe connects as a source, uses the camelet of type timer source, which periodically creates this JSON event. And the event will be bound to the Knative broker default. It uses this event type and uses the application cloud events data format. So this pipe here, if we want to test it, we can use a framework which is called YAKS. So YAKS is a framework that uses behavior-driven development. So it uses the Cucumber feature file in here, and YAKS as a framework provides several steps that you can use out of the box in order to connect to Knative or to HTTP or to start CamelK integrations and pipes and so on. So every step that you see in here is provided by YAKS. So if I jump into this create Knative broker step, you will see that this comes from the YAKS Knative library and the artifact, which is in Maven Central available. So the test itself, as I said, uses behavior-driven development. So I can say, given I create the Knative broker, this will create the broker default if it's not available. And we can also create a Knative service. This service is able then to receive events from the Knative broker. So I create this Knative service called Knative service with a target port, and I create a trigger on the broker so that when there's an event happening, then that the test is also able to receive this event as a service with this trigger. Then I'm loading the CamelK pipe, which is the timer source pipe that we have seen before. The test waits for the pipe to actually start up so that it is in state running. It waits for the routes to start up, and then the test expects that the timer source creates an event of type JSON, and it expects the Knative event data, verifying that the JSON event is as expected with the different fields in here. And it also receives the cloud event headers and checks that the headers of type and source and so on are as expected. So this receiving of Knative event makes use of the Knative service that we have created over here. It makes use of the trigger that we created. So, and then as a last step, the infrastructure like the service and the pipe are removed again. So the test in here, it uses or it knows different modes. One of them is the local mode. In a local mode, all these infrastructure like the broker and the trigger and so on will be created on your local environment. And there's a mode that actually doesn't use Kubernetes or some heavy infrastructure. It uses very lightweight infrastructure, meaning that in the local testing mode, this create Knative broker. It won't create a Knative broker on Kubernetes. It will actually create a so-called mock of the Knative broker, meaning an HTTP service that is able to simulate the behavior of the Knative broker. Also, it will create the pipe in here, not on the Kubernetes service, but it will create the pipe with camel JBang on your local environment. So everything should be running locally, and this should be the best way for you to have a fast feedback loop when you create your pipes, so that you can make sure that your pipe is working as expected with a pure local mode. So if I go into this terminal and say YAKS run, so YAKS is the command line tooling that is provided with the framework, and I can directly run this feature file that we have seen, and I'm using the -- local option to say I want to run this test on my local environment. And if I'm running this locally, again, this creates a HTTP service that acts as a Knative broker, and it will create the pipe using camel JBang, and then verify the events being processed by the pipe and by the Knative broker. So this is green, and this test has passed. So maybe let's let the test fail. So in this expected JSON, I'm going to say not timer pipe, but I'm changing this to foo pipe, and this will definitely fail because the timer source pipe will create different values. Just for you to show that when there's a problem, then the test will actually fail because of the Knative JSON event is not as expected. So this is now failing, and it says the values are not equal for client. Expected is foo pipe, but it was timer pipe. So this is actually the way how we can verify the events being sent. So let's fix the test again. And once you are happy with your pipe environment and with your local development, the good thing about YAKS is that you can run the very same feature file also on your Kubernetes cluster or on your OpenShift cluster. So let me show you the OpenShift cluster that I've prepared. In this cluster, I have some operators installed. Like here's the CamelK operator, the Red Hat OpenShift serverless operator for the Knative Eventing, and I have this YAKS operator also installed. And this operator is able to run the same test that we have run locally also inside of the Kubernetes or OpenShift environment. So let me go back to my demo namespace. I have already started this Knative broker in here, and now let's run the same feature file, and we don't use the -- local. So this should be creating custom resources on the namespace, and this YAKS operator is now running the test as a pod, as a job, but the actual test logic is the same. So the same feature file will then create the pipe. It will use the real Knative broker now. So it won't be simulating the broker, but use the default broker that I've provided in here. So the pipe has already started, and now this produces events on the broker, and now the test actually has received the event from the real Knative broker. So this test is green. It's executed the same feature files, and this is how you can then verify your pipes also in the more sophisticated environment. Let's also have a look into the sync testing. So very simple, the log sync. This time the pipe connects to the broker, receives some events, and logs the events to the output. Very simple. And in this test in here, I can just load this log sync pipe. I wait for the pipe to actually start up, and then I will send out some Knative eventing data. So this time the test is not consuming the events from Knative broker, but it produces the events on the broker, and it just uses this JSON message in here. It sends the Knative event, uses the cloud events data. It uses some functions to create some random ID and creates the timestamp and so on. And then at the very end, the log sync pipe should receive this event, and it should print the same message that we have here to the output. So again, I can run this test locally. So let me just run this log sync feature and use the local mode. So now this again runs the camel JBang pipe, and it will make sure that the Knative eventing data is produced on the pipe. Now it simulates the actual Knative broker part, but yeah, it's a way to run your tests locally, and during development of the pipe, this is quite easy to run the fast feedback loop. The same test run on the Kubernetes cluster. It will create then the log sync as a pipe and use the real Knative broker. So this is the test starting up, and it should create the log sync pipe in a few seconds. Here it is, and yeah, produce the Knative event on the broker. Takes some time to start up, and then maybe we can have a look into the logs in here. It should receive the event from the test. Okay, so yeah, this test is also green. Now let's use a more complicated test that uses Google Sheets integration. So this pipe in here, it connects to the Knative broker, and every time there's an event happening, it pushes the events to Google Sheets, uses a spreadsheet and some secrets to connect to Google Sheets, and it will then push the events to this sheet. And in the test, we can actually do the same approach. We can load the pipe, the sync pipe. We wait for the pipe to start up, and then we are able to actually use Camel to clear all the rows in the spreadsheet so that we have a fresh spreadsheet, and we can use another route that the test starts up to actually listen on the event stream for the Google Sheets. So it will connect to the Google Sheets spreadsheet, and every time there's a new row inserted, then this route in here will be activated. And then we send the Knative event data that triggers the whole workflow, and we send in some very simple JSON. We send this cloud event to the Knative broker, and the Google Sheets sync pipe should actually receive this and push this to the Google Sheets spreadsheet, and then we actually make sure that the pipe has received this this new row, and this new row uses two columns. The column A should receive the client, and the column B should receive our message. So let's just run this test. This is the Google Sheet test sheet, and it has the column A and column B in it. But at every time this is cleared so that we have a fresh Google Sheets spreadsheet, so that the test is actually reproducible. So if I restart this local, then we should see it disappear and then being recreated because of this is the clearance. So now we have a fresh spreadsheet, and then when the test actually creates the entries and verifies it, yes, so it's back. So again, this test is also runnable on the cluster. So let me close this one. Now this creates the Google Sheets sync and uses the real Knative broker. In a short time, this will create the Google Sheets sync. So this shows how you can actually verify your pipes and verify the events being exchanged with the Knative broker. On the one hand, you can run this locally, which is great to have your pipes during development, and the Knative eventing is simulated using the pure HTTP API and the Cloud Events API that is used. And then once you are happy with your local environment and your local testing, you can also run the same test on your Kubernetes environment. And hopefully this showed you how you can verify pipes with Apache CamelK and Kamelets in combination with Knative Eventing. So thanks for watching.